Hello, I am Nancy Lawther, the Legislative Liaison Chair for the Miami-Dade Democratic Party, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's podcast, which is the Dems of District 3. With me today are the two Democratic candidates for the City of Miami Commission race in District 3. That is Rob Piper. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
And Oscar Alejandro.
Yes, ma'am. How's it going?
Very well, very well. So many people may not know where District 3 is in the city of Miami, and it's been a complicated issue because it's been redistricted and redistricted. So as far as I can tell, District 3 encompasses parts of Little Havana, East Shenandoah, West Brickell, parts of Silver Bluff, and then the roads. All of these are pretty well-established neighborhoods. They've seen a lot of changes, but they've been around for a while. So what makes this district special, in your view? Oscar?
In my opinion, especially living in Little Havana, Brickell, Shenandoah, these are neighborhoods that have more recently built their identities. Little Havana, I feel, have been very neglected heavily, especially having the same leadership for the past 16 years. And it's something that's personal to me. So that's a neighborhood with a lot of history, a neighborhood with a lot of culture that really isn't being taken care of as much as it should be.
And Rob, you?
Oh, yeah, just to piggyback off of what Oscar said, the history. It's a historic neighborhood, all the pieces of it. And that gives it its strength, its diversity as well. The diverse set of neighborhoods, between like the roads, my neighborhood of Shenandoah, Little Havana. It's just and the aesthetics, the tree canopy, it's great. It was good for me because I like to go out and walk around a lot, and that keeps me nice and cool in this heat. But yeah, it's a fantastic, diverse, historic district with a lot of different flavors, a lot of different neighborhoods.
So if you were, I am not from that district. If you were to tell me about some sort of a hidden treasure that I absolutely must go see within the district, what would it be? I'll start with you,
Well,
Rob.
if I tell you, it wouldn't be hidden anymore now, would it?
Well.
That's okay. I am partial to the Bright Side, which is on Coral Way at the corner of 17th Avenue and Coral Way. If I could say that is my hidden gem, my joy. I've also discovered the Dead Flamingo, which is Calle Ocho, and you really can't go wrong with all the places on Calle Ocho. So they're not going to be hidden for much longer, but hey, if you need a place to really, really, really have a good sense of community, go to those places. Sounds
good. Oscar, what would you add?
So for me, what I was saying, obviously the food there is amazing. You have restaurants like La Esquina, Pan con Bistec, but I'm a huge fan of the arts, and there's places that are very well hidden, such as the Tunnel, El Fresco, and they're amazing. They have a lot of events. They have a lot of extremely talented artists that I recommend people check out.
Fantastic. So you two share something in common besides being the only Democrats in the race for District 3, and that is both of you are veterans.
Yes, ma'am.
And for the Navy, in the case of Oscar, and the Marines, in the case of Rob.
Yes, ma'am.
How has that experience contributed to the skills that you bring to the potential to leading District 3 as the representative on the commission? And I'll start with you, Oscar.
I think the military does an amazing job giving me leadership skills, giving everyone leadership skills just because you need it to thrive. What it's also done has given me an interesting perspective that I wouldn't have gotten if I'd never enlisted, especially seeing how politicians in general talk about the feelings of military members. It's nice to have the ability to get my own voice in that aspect.
Mm-hmm. And Rob?
I think that it's about service. That's why we joined. We wanted to serve our country. And just to borrow a quote from a movie that I enjoy, the quote is, sometimes you have to serve in order to lead. And I think that sense of service gives us a unique opportunity to lead others, especially in a district or in a city that's as troubled as Miami. And I know just in my 20 years of leading Marines and serving Marines and following Marines, I've learned how that's really helped my communication skills. Because if anything, you have to, when you're in the military, you have to make sure your orders get across clear and concise. You can't spend too much time getting the message across. And I think that's key, especially in a district where, or in a city where, like, people might tune out of politics because it's a little complex.
Complex, yes, indeed, and it's been controversial. There has been perhaps more heat than light that has been generated, particularly in District 3 and on the commission. Both of you are first-time candidates in this particular office. What got into you? Why are you running? And why at this particular time? So I'll start with you, Rob.
It was time. I mean, when I retired from the Marines in 2016, we all know what happened in November of 2016. And for the very first time in my life, I actually knocked doors. Mm-hmm. And I was willing to do what needed to be done to ensure that this country would persevere. Because I took an oath to make sure that Constitution would stay in one piece. And then after that, I got more and more involved. And I realized that informing, engaging, and empowering voters to bring about better government became kind of like my personal mission. It became a hobby. And then it grew to be more of a hobby. And then I realized that the ultimate in informing, engaging, and empowering people is the ultimate of volunteering, and that's running for office. And so it just came time to do that. And it could have been last year, it could have been next year, but yeah, I just felt compelled to do it like right now. And
you, Oscar? You woke up one morning and said, "Oh, I'm going to run." How did you reach that decision? Because it is at this point in time an essay in courage, really, to be running for political office.
Similar to what Rob said, it was time. There's a person, Amanda Littman. She started an organization, Run for Something. And her MO is pretty much getting younger people, new generations to run for office. And I don't think it's enough to be young, but I think you need to be young with a plan. And like you said, we've had more fire than we've had light. And anyone who has any history with District 3 or the city of Miami in general can see that we have a lot of flaws. We have a lot of, unfortunately, there's no other way to describe it than corruption and negligence. And I was never able to rationalize the reason why we haven't had someone who was a good leader, someone who took this position in good faith. And if I haven't seen anyone else do it, I don't see why I shouldn't.
So one of the traditional ways of running for office is to raise a boatload of money and spend it on TV ads and radio ads and things that really cost a lot. So money in and money out. Neither of you have taken that particular route. And my impression is you have been in and out in the community. Where have you been? And what have you heard? I'll start with you, Rob.
Yeah, I've been all over. I've been in my neighborhood, in my own precinct, and other precincts in the surrounding neighborhoods. Been in Little Havana, been in the Roads, been in Shenandoah. I've been down in Silver Bluff knocking doors. I have people knocking doors as we speak, as a matter of fact. And what I've heard is, in addition to what I've seen, which is sidewalks that look like garbage on said sidewalks, people scared to vote because they're afraid of retaliation if they vote for the wrong person. But for every negative story, I'm hearing like about 2 or 3 positive stories. Like, oh, I'm so glad you came. This is awesome. No one's ever like visited my home. So I'm hearing good. I'm hearing bad, and the good is what keeps me going, because it lets me know that, okay, you are informing, engaging, and empowering people by doing what you're doing, and this was a good decision. Okay,
Oscar, what are you hearing?
I've also tried to have a major presence in my neighborhood, Little Havana. I live in precinct 669. And especially in a lot of events, community events where there's younger people, because as you're aware, the voter turnout here is abysmal, averaging 12 to 15%. And a lot of that is younger people who feel like they don't need to vote, they shouldn't vote, or they feel discouraged to vote. And it's for a lot of reasons. They don't see any change. They see the infrastructure is the same infrastructure from when they were born. They see the same leaders running for office since they were born. And they're not really seeing any reason to get out and vote. And having those conversations with people have really given them a different perspective. It's kind of given them that other option, not the one of the lesser of two evils, but one of good choices. And especially in the areas that I've frequented, it's areas that politicians wouldn't really give the time of day to, because they don't think that, and this is what I've heard, they don't think that it's worth it to pay them a visit.
So the people do not feel, the younger people in particular, do not feel valued. And so they basically have been, up to this point, washing their hands of the entire situation. It
Correct.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you are trying to convince them that indeed it can matter.
Yes, ma'am. And it doesn't really take much convincing. It's more of just honestly approaching them as a person, as opposed to approaching them as a demographic, whether it be like male, female, Latino, Latina, however it is.
That's a very interesting comment. And to the extent that when people are professionally in politics, they look at districts and they dissect the numbers.
Yes.
How many people between the ages of 16 and 25? How many people of this ethnicity or that ethnicity? And so would you both say that your approach has been more of trying to look at the problems that people have in common?
Of course. I mean, that is what this is supposed to be about, is it not?
Right.
I mean, it's how we're going to get the corruption out of Miami. Because if more people care enough and feel that they're being heard, that their problems are that politicians care about their problems, they're going to get more involved. And when more people get more involved, the corrupt individuals are less inclined to win.
Right.
More people paying attention, corruption is less in time to flourish.
So the community engagement pre-election, and I think both of you have emphasized post-election.
Yes. Absolutely.
Where too many communities have complained, we see you always around the time of the election and we never see you afterwards. What are your plans, and I'll start with Oscar, for continued community engagement?
So one of the plans for me is I'm really passionate about restoring the NET, the Neighborhood Enhancement Team that was dissolved in 2020, and using them as a sort of constant liaison between me and the members of the community, and using them in their previous roles, which was going out and canvassing local businesses, canvassing the HOAs and figuring out what the problems are, and not just waiting until the town halls or not waiting until the commission meetings to hear them out. I'm also looking to implement supplemental commission meetings, have town halls, because with meetings at Tuesday at 9 a.m., for majority of people who have jobs, majority of people who have school, children, that's unacceptable. And that means that majority of people aren't having their voices heard. They're not really giving their input.
Absolutely. And Rob, in terms of continuing constituent service, which is what this is, what are your plans?
I will continue to engage, inform, and empower. I mean, I hope me and Oscar could have like a productive partnership after the election. You know, if he wins, I want to work with him. If I win, I hope we work together. If we don't win, we'll still be working together, hopefully, and doing what the neighborhood improvement piece that he just brought up, particularly for Little Havana. I mean, organizational infrastructure needs to be built in Little Havana to engage, inform, and empower the residents there in order to bring the changes, bring the funding. And as a whole, you know, where I live in Shenandoah and where he lives in Little Havana, we could all get together. There's mechanisms in the charter itself where citizens can draft their own legislation and make things happen. The petition process, it's being done by the Stronger Miami folks, and it can be done even without the buy-in of the city commission. And all of us will be working together to pressure whoever sits on that dais to do what needs to be done. And if we have to like draft our own legislation via petition process, we'll do that and make those changes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if I look at the district as a whole, and of course, the job of the commission is to solve problems. And partisanship really should not play a role in solving the problems. Local governments in particular, it can get in the way. As I look at the district as a whole, housing affordability, definitely. Traffic, drainage and sustainability issues, homelessness, what to do with the unhoused and how to interact and help, the transparency and efficiency of government itself, and then the whole question of civility among commissioners. Pick an issue or two, and we'll start with you, Rob. How would you address this in a meaningful way, involving the community and engaging with the other commissioners?
All right, well, I guess for your listeners, if they are curious about like the specifics of what I'm looking to do, they can just go to robpiperheretoserve.com and check out my platform and the specifics. But to answer your question, to sum it all up, I'm thinking that, all those issues just boil down to engaging, informing, and empowering voters to bring about a more efficient, effective, accountable, transparent, fair government to the people of Miami, whether it be in District 3 or across all the districts in the entire city. So one thing that I'm looking to do is I would like to keep residents informed. I'm going to be looking to have like at minimum monthly town halls where I just like schedule time in different spots in the district where I can communicate with the voters and let them know, okay, this is what's going on. These are the obstacles that I am facing as a commissioner. And I'll give names if I need to. In addition to creating kind of like putting the institutional knowledge of city government and the interworkings on paper in the form of either a manual or a curriculum to let people know that, hey, this is how your government works. And then finally, like I currently send out weekly updates to my constituents in Coral Way, and I'm looking to expand that to pretty much to keep people informed of the issues that affect them, how they could help to fix them, and what I am doing to work to fix them as well.
Absolutely. Do you want to pick out an issue or a couple of issues that you want to focus on?
So I actually noticed one of the things that you listed is one of the things that I'm very passionate about, which is community land trusts. The city of Miami has a ton of land that we just sit on. We don't really build upon, and it just exists. There's also affordable housing that is kind of neglected. And at that point, it's unlivable, and we haven't made any efforts to restore it. We haven't made any efforts to try to restore it. So I think it's a matter of, it's not just money, it's not just politics, it's making a decision. It's actually making a plan and actually committing to something. And I think community land trust is a positive step forward. Along with that, like you said, the civility. I watched the meetings. There's no
My
reason.
condolences.
Yeah. Prime example for anyone who's never watched one of these meetings, I recommend watching the one where they voted on the 287G agreement. And on the same day, I think they was also voting on the postponement of the election. One of my issues, one of many, is the fact that when people come out to speak, which is very rare because, like I said, Thursday, 9 a.m., they're limited to 2 minutes total, not 2 minutes per issue, 2 minutes to discuss everything. So on instances like that, you have people who are very passionate about 287G agreement, which is the agreement between ICE and Miami PD. And for good reason. It's a personal issue to a lot of people. I don't think that the rules that are placed upon the constituents, the residents that live here, is acceptable. And I think that a lot of people in Miami have become accustomed to it. But if you look at other municipalities, other cities outside of South Florida, you'll see that the residents have a power in their voice. The residents are the ones in control. It's not just the commissioners or the bosses. The commissioners work for the people. So when they say, hey, you can't address this directly, that doesn't really make sense. When they say you can't go over 2 minutes or you can't clap, that doesn't make sense. It may make the commissioners feel uncomfortable. It may make them uneasy, but that's their right. That's their freedom of speech. You don't get to dictate that. And I think when you limit that, it kind of is more reason for people to kind of disassociate from local politics. And as a result, it kind of prevents us from making any progress in any sort of direction.
So you have mentioned land use.
Yes,
and I know, Rob, as well, you are interested in the issue of affordable housing and the kind of balancing the need to preserve the history and the culture of neighborhoods while at the same time expanding opportunity. And the state of Florida also has big ideas. And some of those big ideas involve taking power away from local government and local people and instead investing that power in the state itself. One of the issues that is definitely coming up this legislative session and is likely to be on the 2026 ballot is the limitation on property taxes. We don't know how that will work out. We don't know what proposals will actually end up on the 2026 ballot. But people, of course, will want to reduce expenses. Affordability is a prime issue in District 3 and all over Miami-Dade County. How would you address the question of a potential decrease in revenue, which is something that as a commission you may need to face with what is potentially a growing set of needs in the district itself? So start with you, Rob.
Yeah, we can address the need for historic preservation as well as solving the needs for affordable housing. That's one. Two, regarding I've heard there's talk of abolishing property taxes, which is just horrendous. And I say this as a homeowner. And there's also talk about tweaking property taxes. Now, obviously, property taxes need to be tweaked in such a way that people that really legitimately need relief should get relief on that. And one of the things I'm looking to do is I want to establish a revenue generation board, a civic oversight board that can truly analyze the financial situation of the city of Miami and give publicly shared recommendations to the commission in order to make decisions as to how we can expand our revenue base. That expand revenue base in order to pay for the things that people need while at the same time not making things more expensive for people that have to pay property taxes. Because make no mistake, Miami has a majority of renters, but they are paying property taxes because it gets factored in with their rent. And if anyone believes that abolishing property taxes, that the landowners, particularly big corporate landlords, are going to pass that savings on to their renters, they're living in a pipe dream. So I am for, we have to find a way to preserve our largest source of revenue, but at the same time give relief to people that legitimately need it in the city of Miami.
Absolutely. And I believe you are a renter. I think I saw that on your website, Oscar.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
You have felt this directly.
Yes, ma'am. I'm of the generation where it's a dream to own a house. It's a fantasy. It's a fairy tale. And like you mentioned earlier, they want to abolish property tax, but there's no real details. There's no specifics, but yet they seem to harp on it constantly. And that's the issue for me is, how do you expect these municipalities to plan accordingly with minimal information? And this is where the partisan aspect comes into it, because they try and make it a partisan issue, and they try and make it, they're against property tax. Democrats want you to pay property tax. Republicans don't. When it's a matter of there's not sufficient details. If you have a plan, if you have something that you want to propose, by all means, please let me know. I'd love to look through it, but unfortunately, that's not the case. As far as making up that revenue, I do think that Miami fails to invest in its community. If you look at the boards, if you look at the committees that we have in place, a lot of people don't know, one, that they exist, and two, that they offer grants. They offer funding, a lot of them, especially the Art and Public Places Board. And we have so many opportunities. There's a sports league, Unrivaled, created by Nafisa Collier and Breonna Stewart. It's an amazing opportunity for them to create that partnership. But unfortunately, they are all the way in Medley. And a lot of the commissioners don't even know that it exists. And they're bringing a lot of fans. They're bringing a lot of people who would love to go to Kaseya Center, would love to go to even one of our local parks like Jose Marti. We had Udonis Haslam had his basketball league pro-am. And these are opportunities that we could use to create more funding, create more revenue, and also get people more involved in their government.
Absolutely. So one final question, kind of a short answer. There are 4 charter amendments on the ballot, as well as the races for commission and for mayor. What are your views on those charter amendments? I'll start with you, Oscar.
So I believe it's the lifetime term limits. It is also the
redistricting commission, the question of charter amendment through a committee, and then the last one is more complicated and technical: the sale of non-waterfront property.
Yes. I've already made it clear that I'm for the lifetime term limits. I think that a lot of people are trying to make it seem as if it's unfair, unconstitutional, but I think that the voters will be able to decide, but I do support lifetime term limits. As far as making amendments by charter, I think it's up to voter referendum, and I think it should stay that way. I don't think the 5 members of the committee should be able to make decisions on behalf of the people.
I think they would be suggesting, and it would still go through the same process. It would go to the commission to be put on the ballot.
Yes, I agree.
So that at least would be preserved. Any comments on the amendments, the charter amendments from you, Rob?
Well, yeah, I got yes on 3 and no on 1. The no is the adamant no is the removing the safeguards for development of properties. It's saying that let's approve to give a developer a lease or sale with less than 3 bids. Well, no, those 3 bids are one of the safeguards in place to ensure that the city of Miami gets the best deal. So absolute no on that one. Keep the existing safeguards in place. Lifetime term limits, like Oscar says, yeah, I'm for that as well. The redistricting, the folks in Stronger Miami have let me know that is in fact good. So I'm for that one. And for the Charter Review Commission, I am for that one, just to at least as a means to have an entity, an independent entity. Now, obviously, the commission's going to have some say, but just to have the act of reviewing, actually like publicly reviewing the charter and letting people know that, okay, these are types of things that we recommend should be changed or relooked at. I think that's fine.
That is wonderful, and I am glad that you're speaking up on the charter amendments. It's been a delight to speak with both of you. Thank you so much for coming in. So
thank you for having us.
Thank you again, Rob Piper and Oscar Alejandro, candidates who are Democrats who are running for City of Miami Commission District 3.